Hey, happy December. Hope everyone is doing well. This is Bow with Johnny Tech Review. So previously I reviewed Adobe Atmos soundbar from a company called Majority Plus. That one is called the Sierra Plus and that one came with a subwoofer. I actually forgot to show subwoofer in that video, but I will show it in this video as I'm reviewing a different soundbar from the same company. I previously was only interested in the Adobe Atmos soundbar because I also have a Samsung Atmos soundbar. So I was kind of wanted to see compare and contrast, but then the company also wanted to send to me a 5.1 Dolby surround sound unit called the Everest. That's the model name. That one is a smaller soundbar. It has a smaller subwoofer, but it also comes with two smaller satellite that you can put in the back or you can hook it up to the front. It's really neat. So anyway, it looked interesting enough, so I was like, alright, I'll take a look at that too whenever the time come up. I've been using both of them in parallel, and today I want to talk about the Majority Everest soundbar. So from a footprint standpoint, this soundbar is 36 inches long, it's about 4 inches deep, and about 2.5 inches tall. So this one is a little bit shorter than the Sierra one, which I do like. And actually it fit really well in my Hisense TV setup. I have a game room where my kids playing game with me, and in there I have a cheaper Hisense TV. It's a 4K TV, 55 inch I believe, and with that TV the soundbar fit perfectly underneath that TV. It also comes with optional mounting bracket if you want to mount to the wall. On top it has 4 buttons, a power button, volume up and down, and then an input or slash mode button that you can switch from. So with this soundbar you only get one HDMI input. It's an ARC input, so that's good. You also get 3.5mm audio input, you get RCA, you get optical, and then you also get a USB port for playing music, which honestly I did not test at all. And then finally you also get Bluetooth input from your phone and other devices. From the remote control unit perspective, really good remote. This one I actually like better than the other one. It doesn't have sharp corner like the other one. It has a lot more button and option to pick from. Here you also have the ability to turn the soundbar on and off. You also have the ability to turn the surround speaker on and off. They are wireless. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then you have control of the different channels, so you can control the volume up the front, the surround, the center, and the subwoofer all separately. And then in the middle you have of course the general volume, control both triple and bass. And then at the bottom you also have input button plus 3 different EQ for music, news, and movie. So the subwoofer for this soundbar is a little bit smaller. It's 13.5 by 11 by 6.5. I will also put a comparison for the Sierra Plus subwoofer since I didn't do that in the last video. It was kind of a mission on my part. So these surround soundbars are really interesting because they have a micro USB charging port. They do come with 2 different power adapters. You can charge them, but you can use them just wirelessly. They are rated for about 8.5 hours I believe on normal playing volume, and about 4 hours in very high playing volume. What makes these really unique is similar to the JBL soundbar. If you ever seen those, you can actually take the 2 satellite and dock it right into the main soundbar to kind of extend the sound, or just to charge them, which is a really unique way to do this. So for the past month and a half of using these, I found that the rear speakers never really run out of battery because I typically use them for a few movies and then I go ahead and charge them. So that's not really a problem. I did have them plugged in for a while, but then I decided to just hook them up on wireless and then charge them to see how far they last. So next, let's talk a little bit about the sound quality of this soundbar. So compared to the Sierra Plus, I do like this one better in terms of the way the rear satellite produce sound. I think with the Adobe Atmos version of the soundbar, the sounds were pretty good, but for me it feel like a little bit lacking in the back. On the side, as surround sounds are coming. So in this example, even though this is not Adobe Atmos, in a lot of movies on Netflix and on YouTube, they sound really good. I really feel like the room being completely filled with sound, and I do like playing, for example, in the EQ of music to get a little bit more sound coming out of the side surround sound speaker. When you're in the movie mode, of course, all the dialogues are centralized in the front, and then of course you hear sound effect going to left and right. But in music, I think this soundbar and the rear satellite speaker work really well. So the volume on this soundbar, I would like to point out, is very loud. Even though it looks small, I would say when you are playing music and movie, I get to about 15, which is about half of the volume that the unit is capable of, and it's very loud in the room that I have. And again, I would say I get up to about 25, 26. I tested a few things while my kids are out, and it's very loud. In terms of the subwoofer, it does produce a very nice low rumble. In watching movies and listening to dance and hip hop music, it's very clean. The mid and vocals sound very good on these. Again, I didn't mess with the Essential channel. I just left it about 10, which is kind of like the standard, and it sounds clean. I like the dialogue that's coming through from the movies, and YouTube looks very good. Now on the flip side, I would say on the highs, as far as I can tell, it's not as clean as I would like. I feel like it's a little bit warm. So in my experience, I typically set the triple to about plus 14, plus 15, like all the way out. It depends on the content I'm watching, but it's definitely more than the typical 10 that it comes with. So I believe for movies and music, this soundbar produce a very nice sound quality coming out of it. Even though this one's a little bit smaller, it does fit a smaller TV and in a smaller room. The Dolby Atmos one is a little bit beefier, so it depends on the type of TV you have. You might not need that one. The downside with the Dolby Atmos one is that you don't have the rear satellite, which is when you do. One last thing that I like about this setup is that the rear satellite speaker does go off automatically. If you do want to turn it off, you can just hold down the surround power button for about a few seconds, it will go off. But normally when you turn on the soundbar, the satellite does not come on. You do have to press it once to turn them on. I would say there's only one downside for your soundbar that I can think of. Right now, if you're just turning it on with the rear satellite all on and you're not listening to anything, the volume is kind of high, around 15 or midway through it, you can kind of hear a little bit of white noise coming out of the rear satellite. As soon as you play something, it kind of goes away, but it just depends on how sensitive you are to these kind of things. That might bother you just a little bit. But there's one quirk, I don't know if it's really a con, but this remote control here actually sometime activated some of the button on my Hisense TV, so I feel like using the same, I guess, IR frequency. So that's kind of odd. Alright guys, that is my quick review of this Everest soundbar from Majority. This is a really nice 5.1 surround sound system. The rear speakers are really nice, and I like the fact that you can dock them together to charge them and to use them up front. So if you guys found this video interesting or helpful, please give it a thumb up. Consider subscribing for more future content. Thank you. Have a good one.